Good afternoon. This is Cam, here to drive you crazy. And I got with me a very sleepy Miss Cabby right here. So, hope that you just don't mind that I have her in my arms right here. But right now, it is Boston Sports Talk number 6. So, we'll just jump straight into this one. First thing is obviously the Boston Bruins, who just won their game today, 2-0 against the Sabres, now putting them actually at a record of, sorry, I'll get that real quick, 26, 12, and 6 with 58 points, still just behind the Capitals, Islanders, and Penguins. And we actually are having a pretty good streak right now for the Bruins, who have won 5 games in a row. So it really has proven that something has been figured out with the Bruins. They have been able to get on a good win streak. They've been, getting some games against the Capitals, or the one game against the Capitals, 2 games against the Islanders. We'll be waiting to see when they play the Penguins up and coming to see if they can at least try to push for that 3rd position. Right now, still staying at the 4th seed, and we'll just see how their season continues on from this point, because right now it does seem like, with the way that they are going about this win streak right now, it shows that they finally were able to figure out how to put the team together, finally be able to figure out what is necessary for them to persevere, even if it comes out to like overtime games or shootouts. They have shown that come this playoff push, it is very vital that they show that they can maintain this again, because that was always the big question: is they going to be able to maintain it, or if they're going to possibly fall out and keep losing to teams that they probably should be winning to, and then obviously having to show that they can prove themselves against the teams like the Capitals, Islanders, and Penguins, who are ahead of them. The very next thing is going to be the Boston Celtics, who did lose their game the other day against the Bulls, which was kind of an upsetting thing to a lot of Celtics fans, because the Celtics did have a 6-game winning streak going into that one before losing to the Bulls. And the thing that always seems to bother the Celtics is the fact that they seem to always lose to those teams that have losing records. We had a really close game against the Trailblazers, a very interesting game against the Lakers, obviously, with the fact that there's no LeBron, no AD, and all that, but still was able to pull off a pretty decent win there. And then a very good close game against the Warriors as well. And that game really could have been an either-or kind of game as well, coming to the last minute, but persevered and was able to get that win. But it's always seeming to be a very bad 3rd quarter that always tends to make the Celtics seem out of the game, or having to find a way to get back into the game. So obviously losing by 6 points to the Bulls is kind of upsetting, especially for the fact that Tatum only had 14 points in that last game. So it shows that if Tatum is off, and Jaylen Brown was still trying to come back from an illness, and there's still a lot of the people out from the health and safety protocols that are going on. So we'll see exactly how they are going to continue on, because again, that was a bad loss for them, but they will be playing against the Suns and then the Nets these next 2 games. So it really will show how well they can persevere after this one loss, and how well they can rebound from that. Right now they are sitting at the 5th position now instead of the 7th, so that little 6-game win streak really did help them out with that, and we'll see what happens from that point. Next thing, of course, that I'm going to just continuously be ongoing about right now, since it is still the beginning of the season, is the Boston Red Sox. First place in the AL East, and with a 4-2 win over the Toronto Blue Jays today, having a record right now at 12-6. So obviously doubling up on their wins from the beginning of the season, obviously, when I had mentioned from my previous video, which was how they had lost their first 3 and then went on a 9-game winning streak basically after that. Lost next 2, unfortunately, to the White Sox, who they had in their last series, but split that series 2-2. So obviously right now I'm not showing that much worry right now. Obviously the biggest thing would be the bullpen, which has been always the very questionable thing with the Red Sox, especially for the last couple of years. But they've been able to maintain themselves quite well. And again, JD Martinez is really starting to get hot. You know, my favorite guy, Alexander Bogaerts, is still proving that he's right up there with some of the best hitters. Still is one of the better defensive men that never really gets that much of a mention because, well, for reasons, I guess, because he has proven himself to be an all-star on multiple occasions, but because there's other big name shortstops in this league, it's hard to have Alexander get his recognition when it is due. So for me to explain that I believe in this team and all the pickups that they've had, from Verdugo to Kike Hernandez, and you know, just a lot of the guys that are still kind of new and still developing, but they show that they are going to be great in this system. They are going to help out the Red Sox be able to continue on with this, you know, dominating performance that they have already been showing, being the first team in the AL to get to the 10 wins. Obviously, besides, you know, the Rockies, who had gone there first, but not Rockies, excuse me, the Dodgers. Not the Rockies. Rockies have like the worst record right now. That's what I was meaning to say from the NL side. But the worst record for the AL side is also going to be the Yankees. So sorry, just got to bring that up. But we'll see how far the Red Sox go on. And of course, last but not least, I always bring up the New England Patriots. Still far off from, you know, anything really exciting to talk about. Obviously, by next week should be a little bit more on the rumor sides of what's going to be happening come the NFL draft. There's been a story that got leaked out a little bit, and the sense of how true it is might exactly be, you know, kind of if it is, if it isn't. But for me, from what I've heard on it, and I'll explain, to say there was a leaked photo that came from the Green Bay Packers to say that they were willing to trade up for the New England Patriots' 15th spot, and in exchange they would give up their first round pick, a second round pick I believe for next year, but also in this trade offer was mentioned Jordan Love. And the one big thing about that is the simple fact that obviously Patriots are looking to go for a quarterback. No matter what, I mean, you know, I like Jarrett Stidham when he's been playing. He proved that he can work in the system, but just like as much people have been saying in the Patriots locker room, they're saying it's hard to put faith in a guy that you don't know how well he can actually perform. So with that just being said, Jordan Love being on the table now really puts a different perspective of how I think the Patriots want to try and go with this trade, if they even attempt to go with this particular trade, because again, this was just a leaked photo and maybe just an optional thing to try and get a better pick for the Packers and then give the Patriots some more options as well as another quarterback. But until that point in time, we'll just have to wait and see. So thank you very much again for watching my video. Drop a like if you liked what I had to say. Leave a comment for any other suggestions, and hit subscribe for more content. My name is Cab, and I'm here to drive you crazy.